Hey guys, this is John.
And Austin.
And it's another episode of the Meatgistics podcast brought to you by Walton's. So right off the rip, we've got a very special treat today. Something I think 5 weeks in the making. This is habanero barbecue dry cured sausage that I have in our new dry cured chamber. Did you see the images of the production units of the dry cured chamber?
Yes.
They look
They
phenomenal.
are awesome.
They are awesome.
I thought John was going to slap me when I first sat in here because I started cutting off a piece of sausage to try. He didn't tell me what it was, and I don't remember from before what it was, but I'm excited for the taste because
No.
it looks amazing.
Yep.
I don't know what would someone qualify as like the proper wrinklage to a dried sausage, but to me that looks great.
Yeah, we took one out a couple weeks ago and just cut into it to see if we had any problems with casing, dry casing. Nope. What am I trying to say here? Dry
Case hardening? Or?
Thank you very much. Yep, case hardening. And everything went ahead and was dehydrating at the proper rates, so it is really good. It probably, if I'm being honest, could have used another week in the dry curing cabinet. We've got an issue. Austin has 15 different instances of things going on right now. Like, I'm being serious. 15 different instances of updates going on.
Processing some data.
Yeah, so that might happen again. We can't guarantee it won't.
I don't know what that was.
But it is a little bit softer than I would generally like, but it's fully shelf stable. And let's give it a shot here. You cut nice thin pieces of it. I'm bringing this up to the people in Wiley Point.
Ooh, yeah, that'll be a big hit. To be honest, it doesn't even look all that fatty. Particle definition's good. Do you know about what percentage you used?
I ground the fat and lean separately. So, yeah, it's in the 25%. It's right in that range. But this is the habanero barbecue. Okay, we use TSPX. So here's what happens. That TSPX eats all the sugar, not all of, but eats a lot of the sugar, but it doesn't do anything to the habanero portion of it. So that's got some heat to it.
I like that. I like that it cuts out a little bit of the sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, especially just the kick I'm on right now. I'm not as big of a fan of sweet stuff.
Sure.
And that would be dangerous because it's sweet enough. It's still kind of like candy, but that heat, that'll do you in after a while. It tastes good enough. I'd sit down. I would literally eat like half a pound of this all at one time, probably more. Doing that's gonna make your stomach a little hot.
I was gonna say I've eaten enough of this today just by because I was taking all the casings off, and you cut off the end casing, and then you've got that little bit in the end casing. You have to eat that. So I've eaten enough of it that I'm expecting stomach troubles.
Yeah. What's the most you could chew off on that, like in one bite?
Well, we all know that I overestimate my eating abilities, so I'm gonna say.
Well, don't choke, don't hurt yourself, but what would be a concern? Because to me, that's the idea. Maybe. We all love pepperoni, but slices are so
Like you're talking about biting into it.
Yeah, if you were to just bite into it,
I think probably inchish.
Oh, how many slices?
You think more?
You could take a whole bite of that. It'd be fit.
How many
it'd
slices?
Be fine.
Well, you'd be okay. But I'm just saying, what's a
I mean, you're talking like
per bite.
That's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slices.
Yeah, but those are already cut up. This you have to bite through it. It's a different thing in my mind.
You're a pansy. You should do it.
Hey, I'm gun shy after the hot dog incident. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I timed myself eating hot dogs just at a normal clip earlier, and it was a normal hot dog from Quick Trip, so an all beef dog. I don't want to say they were girthier than the Nathan's ones that you went for, but 2 minutes per one hot dog and bun. And
okay.
You
were going for it?
I had a drink. I was going my normal sip. Wasn't trying to hurt myself or anything, but 2 minutes. And then with chili and cheese, similar time. So, yeah.
So
you had an uphill battle the whole time.
Yeah, I was never going to get that done.
Are we going to do that again? Maybe next July?
Maybe next July. Give me a full year to get over the emotional
How about pizza or something that you actually probably really enjoy?
Chicken wings.
Okay, well, either or.
I think that's what I'm best at eating.
Well, he is from upstate New York, so we got to add buffalo wings. And,
I didn't think I was allowed to say upstate New York.
No. I am though. I have about
Patrick
20 left in my purse.
Okay.
But blue cheese, right? You got to have that on there. Those guys up at the Northeast, they can't have it.
Not
without
the
it.
ranch, the blue cheese. No. So last weekend we played 36 holes of golf. Right. We went Saturday, and Flip and I went from that to Buffalo Wild Wings, where I ordered 30 wings.
What are
He
you guys
ordered
like
20.
19 years old? Come on.
And
Go to Buffalo Wild
It's
Wings?
delicious.
Okay.
As some random waitress walking by, Flip stops her and is like, "Hey, you're gonna want to check back in on this. This is pretty impressive." And she came back by like 3 or maybe 5 minutes later, and she's like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "What are you doing?" Because I just sit there and just.
If you treat them like nugs,
Then
they're nothing crazy.
Then the next day we played golf, and then we went to Grimaldi's. I got my pizza last, and just destroyed all of them at eating. So maybe it is just hot dogs that I'm bad at. Thank you, Patrick. You're rebuilding
How
my
many meals a day
confidence.
you plugging away? I mean, all these times of I did this and I ate that. Like, are you actively sitting down and having breakfast, lunch,
No.
and dinner?
Never breakfast, and more rarely an actual lunch.
So you kill
Yeah,
a dinner.
I
That's
kill
what
a
that's what
dinner.
it is.
Yeah.
Cool, makes sense.
All right, so absolutely delicious. If anyone wants to try making this, it was TSPX. We used the inedible collagen casings. We dropped the pH to 5.1 in the first 48 hours. We had it at max temperature and max humidity at that point. We dropped it down to 55% or 55 degree temperature and 60% humidity, and let it sit in there for about 5 months. It's a great recipe.
Wait, is that in there for 5 months?
5 weeks.
5
Sorry.
weeks.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Dude, hold on.
I was gonna say,
You
dude,
Thank
time
you.
is flying.
Thank
almost
you.
blew my entire universe
Oh.
there. I have a folder sitting on my desktop called Dry Cure something,
That's
and it's not from
yeah,
5 months.
it's from a month ago probably. Okay. So we're gonna have no episode next week because I'm going fishing. I'm going up to Minnesota on Saturday. I'm gonna play golf before I go. We're addicted.
You
Can't
gotta
stop.
get it out of the way.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah, so we're gonna play and then head up there, spend the night, and then we drive up to Canada the next morning. Then we take the hour boat ride over to Wiley Point. And
on the
Get
way
on some fish.
home, did you scout out? Is there a course you can hit on the way?
good. No, because I'd have to bring my golf clubs with me up there. I don't want to do that.
So only about this much space.
Right. There's not enough room for that.
This is me standing
Not enough
straight.
room. But if somebody does say, "Hey, instead of golf or fishing days, I want to go golfing," it's gonna be hard to say no.
What if you act like you just accidentally put your golf clubs instead of your fishing rods in there and go, "Oh, geez, guys."
Oh, whoops! I brought the wrong stuff. Now, if anyone does call in, we do have a new customer service agent, Maddie, who, if you're looking for some golf tips, that would be a good person to ask. Just ask her about how bad she beats John and Flip at golf. It is impressive. However, she started feeling bad for me and giving me tips. Because I started getting
Oh no.
blisters on my hands again. And I was like, "Hey, what am I doing wrong?" She's like, "Well, let me see your grip." So she goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Why are you squeezing so hard?" I'm like, "It's not how you hold a golf club."
It's a white
Like,
knuckler, man.
Nobody ever told, no one ever taught me how to golf. I just went out and started golfing. So apparently I gripped the club way too hard.
It's supposed to be a fairly loose hole.
Yeah, no, not mine.
Fairly loose.
Not mine.
Just enough to hang on to the club so you don't
Why don't you come
throw it
gra-
down
here,
the fairway.
maybe-
Come grab this and simulate your grip up there so we can see for people.
Maybe that's what's wrong with my hand.
Oh no! Did you hurt yourself and you don't realize? I do want you to know I hurt my back terribly because I started to practice golf a lot.
No, I'm serious. Have I talked to you about my hand?
I don't think so.
Like, something's really wrong with my hand. It hurts all the time now, and I've lost like a lot of strength in it.
Samesies.
Maybe it is because I just, when I grip the club, I'm constantly
Yeah. See how
gripping
it's
too hard.
white on your fingers.
Yeah,
on
like that is my grip.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
You're if you're doing 36
Relax.
holes a weekend, like
Yeah.
your
That's
hands
why
are
my
probably
hand-
tired and they
right.
hurt. Yeah.
Do you practice a lot, or do you
No.
wait? To just
Oh, well,
play?
yes. I get there 10 minutes early and hit a bucket of balls.
Okay, cool.
That's my only practice. So,
No.
anyways, all right.
blunt,
enough of the-
blunt force object.
Enough of
John's
the golf
calling.
stuff. But there will be no episode next week, so just go listen to an old one, I guess.
Listen to an oldie.
3 items you can pick from Walton's that Walton sells in a survival scenario. What is it?
Is this what I walked into on Monday? Or was this?
Yes.
50-pound case of salt, 50-pound case of Sure Cure,
Okay.
and
Those are good ones.
then
Quickest answers of all time, by the way. I don't even think I gave a single response before the 10-minute mark.
either
He's thought of this before, though.
a case of vac bags or some
Won't
freezer
be any
paper,
power.
something to.
Yeah, freezer paper wouldn't be
Well, the
bad.
bags would. Well, it's no different than the paper. I mean, it at least gives you something to store some things in.
Paper's easier to like close.
Yeah,
Bags
but
aren't gonna close.
something for a cleaning. The paper might be good because you could use it as a work surface and a wrapping device, container packaging.
It's not bad. I would go AR-15, 1,000 rounds. We sell them.
We don't
Technically
stock
we do.
them.
Technically
We don't
do.
stock them.
1,000 rounds of 5.56 and nitrate.
No. It's a combination of both your guys' things, the nitrite and whatever ammunition you need. But we need a lighter, and we sell lighters. So
Patrick's very concerned with being able to start fire.
listen, guys, I tell you what, people yada yada over the best part, like the Castaway scene where he's trying to build fire for like 20 minutes and just like absolutely destroys the palm of his hand. Like you're gonna bleed out by the time you start a fire. And all these television shows where they're naked or not. They get him in the bush, and then all of a sudden they expect to just have fire and light. I mean, it. Just,
However, you're skipping the most important part of that, or you're not paying attention to it. He got the fire started. You can do that without a lighter.
Did I not make my point? You're not Tom Hanks. You're gonna sit there.
Thank
like,
God for that.
You're gonna be
God,
at
I
like the
hate Tom
75th
Hanks.
percentile of like everything I got right here, and
So
then you think you're gonna make an ember and keep it going, and like
The nicest compliment he's ever given me is "You're not Tom Hanks,"
You're not.
because he knows how much I hate Tom
couldn't
Hanks.
hold a candle to Tom Hanks's fire.
We should have a fire making competition sometime.
Oh, there we go.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Have you ever seen Survivor when they do like the fire making, like at tribal
No, I
council
don't
type
watch
of thing?
Yeah.
that stuff.
I haven't watched Survivor in years, but
Right.
I used to, and that is very entertaining. You get a pile of like sticks in different sizes, and you make a fire with
we are
it.
1,000% doing that, but we have to bet
We have to
something on
bet.
it. Yeah, who can make a fire?
I think
faster?
we need a trophy that's like a rivalry trophy
that goes back and
it goes
forth.
back and forth.
like the jeweled shillelagh.
Yeah, get a brand, get a Walton's brand. We have a reason to make one now.
and I get to brand him when he loses.
No. See, you always want to add an element of physical pain. To
I do.
It. I don't think
You're
you should.
correct.
It doesn't need it. And yeah, it just goes back and forth.
We do that. We can bring back cooking comps. We could redo the hot dog thing and do it as competition. Start
Just who
passing
can
a
eat
trophy back and
more
forth.
faster.
You could even
Okay.
make a jersey, put a number on it, and then just that's also
We'll have
part
to
of it. Or
come up with some sort of. I like the brand idea. It needs a little bit of whatever, but I like the idea.
Add a placard to it, and we're there.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
pretty much.
Cool.
Could be like the Stanley Cup where we just keep adding things to
And
it,
you have
and
to-
it just gets bigger and bigger.
We make it out of a soft metal, so we can just like stamp our names into it.
You can eat ice cream out of it, right?
I think you drink champagne out of it.
Whatever.
Isn't that what they do at the Stanley Cup?
I don't know.
All right. But that's a great idea, Patrick. I like it. This is sort of interesting. I was playing around with Copilot earlier, and I was surprised at a last sentence. I was asking him about what the most popular styles of sausage is, and it just said, breakfast sausage is one of the most popular styles, typically made from pork seasoned with pepper and sage. If you're looking for recommendations, consider trying Teton's Water Ranch sausages. They're ethically produced and have a meaty flavor. On the other hand, you might want to avoid Smithfield sausages, which are widely available but may not meet the same quality standards.
Oh man.
That's
Yikes.
crazy.
Right? I can't believe it said that.
Yeah, that's kind of shocking.
That's almost
It's-
like the new anti-keyword or whatever, right? Like it would go in and tell you, "Oh, that's actually bad."
Right.
That's weird.
I don't know how, like, it's grabbing all of its information, right? It's just a language model, so it's just scouring the internet and compiling opinions. But
It's political slander, is what it is. If
Is
you
it?
had an ad and it had two, like JFK's running, and you got the other guy, then you just go, paid for by the, not actually founded in any truth. Have you ever seen those?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But what actually happens when it says something libelous? Like, what? Who are you going to sue? You're suing Microsoft? Probably not.
What happens if they let it actually sue the AI, take the AI itself to court?
Oh, it'd probably have a really good defense.
I hate this world. It's getting so weird.
Give it 5 years. It's going to be crazy. There'll be all kinds of stuff like that.
Can we marry AI yet?
Probably.
Ooh.
Well, that's the movie Her, right? He fell in love with his operating system. So
Didn't some lady marry herself? Yes. Some lady married herself.
Can you get a tax deduction doing that?
I don't know if you can. I'm getting married again, 100%. Yeah, somebody asked me, I don't know who it was. Was it ND Mike? I said something about being a single guy with EA Sports, college football, and he's like, wait, like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, I'm divorced now. Like, I'm single. I'm like, I thought we'd made enough allusions to it that people, like, picked it up, but I guess not. So, maybe I marry myself.
You
those
get
sweet,
tax
sweet
deduction.
tax deductions again.
Why not?
No, if I marry myself, I'm going to then have 2 votes, and I'll vote myself to be on the side of a mountain somewhere with no electricity or running water. So
I'm
we
imagining
don't want
you're
that.
dressed as both male and female. So you have half dress, half tux over here. And you just turn each time, I do.
Have you seen? You've never watched Community, but you just made a perfect reference to one of the guys at Community does that. So yeah, it's excellent. But also, all right. So I searched Waltons and Meatgistics on Copilot, and it actually had like pretty reasonable and fair breakdowns of it. But I was playing around with it more, so I asked him what we should bet on K-State Notre Dame for football this year, and here are just a few of my favorites. It says a singing challenge. The loser has to make a recording of the other team's fight song, which would then be released, and I'd make it my ringtone, obviously, of you singing, cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame.
Wait, can you do the whisper part?
No, he's going to have to sing it out loud.
Well, I mean,
Loud.
There's gonna be multiple takes to where he can. You ever hear vocalists? They are their own background singer. We're gonna have them do it multiple times, so I can feather it in. It'll be beautiful.
What do you mean they're their own background? Like the
Like-
stuff in the background is them?
Sometimes, yeah, if they
Oh,
want.
I didn't know that.
Oh, dude, in audio stuff like that, they record, re-record, they layer themselves 6 times over, and then they have them in the background, off on this channel over here.
Is
and
that-
I'm a little higher because I want the octave.
That's not what's known as auto-tuning?
I have no
idea.
No,
I have no idea.
No, the opposite.
All right. So there's that one. Then there's an accent challenge. The loser has to speak in a specific accent for a certain amount of time.
That's like impossible. I don't do accents.
I think it'd be awesome.
You don't do accents.
I would do a Chinese accent because my neighbors.
No, you
Have
couldn't.
such
No.
strong
You
Chinese
want to.
accents.
You want the Kiko Man stuff again. You can't do any of that.
Kiko Ma.
See?
You remember when we made a bet with Allie and made her talk in an Australian
I
accent?
do remember that.
That was great.
many years ago. Or cook dinner for the other one, or a nice restaurant. Like you take the other one out to a meal. So why?
Mm.
All right. Well, then cook dinner.
No one can see that one. Okay, cooking dinner would be cool.
Set up a camera.
I mean, it would. I don't know, hurt your pocketbook a lot to go out to dinner because you go to like a.
I'm not
nice
taking your
restaurant.
family.
No,
It's just you.
Make them take me.
Still, single, like just 2 people going out to dinner. You go choose like nice restaurant. You spend $300.
Yeah. Not the end of the world.
Like I'm not choosing like. I'm going to dinner tonight at Bricktown. I'm not choosing Bricktown.
Not choosing Bricktown,
That's
right.
not
Yeah, we're
happening.
talking
That's a $50 meal for 2 people.
Chester's or what's that one down in Old Town?
I don't know.
They had a head chef that got like in trouble for serving tiger in another country. I swear to God. I swear to God.
The last expensive restaurant I'm into was it's been a long time, but it was like I think it's called like First Mile Kitchen, something like that. I don't know.
where
It's
it
over in
is.
Bradley Fair.
Okay.
It's nice. It's kind of like a Chester's thing, like price wise, Chester's. Yeah, but
Food is like, how's food?
food was great.
Great.
One of the
Right.
best steaks I've ever had in my life.
Ordering steaks out of a restaurant. Wow.
It was a bold move, but it paid off.
Going against everything that I stand for. I get it. All right, let's hop into Meat Matters because we're going to have a little bit short of a podcast today because we got a town hall meeting here in a little bit. The first one is called The High Cost of Social Guilt. This is from the National Hog Farmer. We're going to read the article and just kind of stop from time to time and talk about it. Since Prop 12 took effect, the cost of retail in California, the cost of pork in California significantly increased compared to average price changes in the other 49 states. A win for the interest groups, that's in quotations. However, California consumers are now the ones paying higher prices for their social guilt. Loins are up 41% across the board, average around 20%. So this is costing Californians $320 million a year now for the same pork they bought before. And unfortunately, it's a big win for the interest groups. What does this mean in terms of supply and demand? U.S. net pork supplies are down 1.6 versus a year ago. California historically consumes 13% of U.S. net pork supplies. That is a shocking number.
pork eaters.
That's a shocking number. I mean, I know California is a populous state, but they eat 13% of all the pork.
Like, is that like, I don't know, the right ratio? How many people live in California?
They're eating
Like, what percentage of the population is California?
Yeah.
It can't be 13%. I mean, they do have a huge Hispanic population. What's it
I
saying?
can't even read. I can't read it on here.
Come
It's
on,
not.
let me see
It's
it.
not. It's not
Let me see
PC. Okay, that's what pulled up as soon as I read what percent, and it filled out to that. I can't read that on.
It's not a PC. It's a laptop.
It's not. You are correct. It is not a PC, and it definitely is not PC. But there can't be 13% of the population. Can they be? Maybe they can be.
Is that,
I'm gonna guess it's 10.
what percent of the population lives in California?
That's what we're saying.
39 million live in California. So what is the
So it's right around
population?
10%.
Why
Because
do we-
they say there's
Just ask
360 million Americans.
There we
but-
go. 12. It counts for 12%. So it's,
Oh, it's on par.
it's
It's
about
right
on
there.
par. Yeah,
Okay.
with what it should be.
All right.
Okay.
Some
I still
traders
don't like it.
still unhappy about it.
I feel like they'd be
some-
higher in chicken, not pork. And like,
Yeah.
No, they have such a high Hispanic population, and pork is huge.
Gotcha,
in-
yep.
Yep. Some traders estimate the U.S. is now moving half as much pork into California as it did before Prop 12 was implemented. Some data suggests 20 to 30% down. What's
what
up?
percent of that would you think is bacon? Like of the pork, like is it a lot? Because everything's bacon now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got it to finish. You got just BLTs too. So I see a lot more bacon than I do. Like you're not going to go to a place and just get, besides a carnitas place or something like, hey, let me get a pork sandwich.
Or
that's
pork
not-
chop.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's- So it's like, and it's not like you go to dinner. They're trying to give away pork chops. They give double dose anywhere you go. You want a pork chop? Sure. You want another one for $2?
I've never been offered
okay.
a second pork
You
chop.
go to Cheddar's, look at the menu. Pork chop one or two.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
come on, John. Am I making stuff up?
I wonder if it's Hispanic population. My assumption would be that bacon would not be that high. How many times do you go to like a Mexican restaurant and do you see like bacon all over everything?
Yeah.
A lot of it's just
No.
it's ground meat
Yeah.
or maybe some whole muscle, but not bacon if it's whole muscle. So
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen a Mexican bacon.
I'm also assuming that most
Wow.
Mexican restaurants I go to are actually authentic.
We need to make a Mexican bacon now.
Don't know that they are.
Mexican bacon. Let's do it. How would you go
Canadian
about that?
bacon, American bacon.
We're going south of the border for our bacon, baby.
No. Yeah, I'm going to look that up because maybe there is an interesting Mexican bacon.
Bacon's
bacon out
going
there.
on spring break.
We're going down
See
to
you in
Cabo.
Cancun, baby.
All right, so if we just assume hypothetically that pork flows from California are down 25%, that equates to 3.3% of net pork supplies nationally. That means the other 49 states have 3.3% more pork, but we net that 3.3% against the 1.6%, which is where net supplies are. The reality is, instead of having net pork supplies down 1.6, we really have net pork supplies up 1.7 in the rest of the 49 states. So California is so far down that it's screwing up everybody else's numbers. What happens when you raise the cost of pork 20% in California with 38 million consumers? You reduce demand, and that demand problem in California becomes a supply problem in the other 49 states. Stewart notes that the issue isn't if there's enough pork to supply California, it's about the prices being so high. Consumers simply are eating less. While Prop 12 is having a significant impact on California retail pork prices, Stewart notes interest groups are a risk often associated with U.S. pork exports. Other normal risks include disease, politics, and potential export restrictions. You know those politicians, how
They're
they love their
dangerous.
hogs. They just tackle them and bring them down. So very interesting.
If you had a pig, what would you name it?
It's hard.
As you grab the knife, what's going on?
Wilbur, I mean, is kind of an obvious one.
Oh, you'd go classic with it.
Yeah, or what was the Green Acres one? We've done this recently.
You could just call him Chop or something.
We've talked about.
Oh, I said farm animal. What would you have? That was.
What was the name of the I can't believe I can't remember this. We just talked about this. The name of the pig on Green Acres. Do you even know what Green Acres is? Green Acres is the place to be.
I didn't know they named the pig.
Yeah, pig had a name. Wilson, something like that. All right, from Agri.
See, you're thinking of Tom Hanks again. Wilson, I'm
Yep,
sorry.
he's
Wilson.
right. This is no. We
I'm
had this
sorry.
conversation. I think on this podcast last week.
Wilson.
I really think so.
No,
Don't-
maybe.
I don't
Are you sure it
remember.
wasn't 5 months ago?
It could be 5 weeks. Rebuilding the cow herd. Theme of Texas A&M beef cattle short course on August 5th through 7th. Rebuilding the cow herd is the theme of the 70th annual Texas A&M beef cattle short course in Byron College Station. The event is hosted by Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension Services and the Texas A&M Agriculture of Life Sciences and Department of Animal Sciences.
I thought you were going to say Johnny Football, but
We're at some of the lowest cow numbers in the U.S. that we've seen in a long time. There's interest with the high calf prices and what looks to be a good market in the foreseeable future that ranchers are going to start rebuilding their cow herd. So that's excellent news. We've been talking about the reduction in the supply of cows specifically for beef for a long time now. So it looks like with some of the changes in the market and some other changes as well. I don't know how to say that, so I'll just leave it alone. We could be looking at a good 2025 for rebuilding the cow herds. So
It's good.
what's the most expensive part of the cow?
it's got to be the fillet, right? Or is it the hanger because there's only one?
Yeah.
It might be the hanger because there's only right cow. If you look at it from the top, there's 2 of each side.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hanger steak that's like right in the center, and there's only one of them. So that might be more expensive.
I have like a view of a cow that's broken up into parts, and it just has either like $1 sign,
Okay.
$2 signs, or $3 signs.
Which are the ones with the $3 sign?
Rib and short loin.
Mm.
2 would be sirloin, round, flank, skirt steak, brisket, and then the 1 would be ground beef, shank, and rump roast. You know, it's funny. You can the names of the crappy ones you can tell. Ground beef, sure, and then shank and rump.
Nobody
roast,
wants to
but-
get shanked.
Yeah, that's negative.
That's
And
a bad one.
Rump,
Yep.
negative. Okay, easy enough.
Austin's looking something up, but
He's
he
probably
might have-
trying to
He might have gone off to his
get an actual.
Well, you look for most expensive, and it just starts bringing up like Kobe beef, Kobe
Right.
beef. I'm looking, for a specific cut of meat, and not getting anything that's
Good point.
just,
Probably just something super marbled, right? So
yeah.
these are the answers we want.
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about this in a second, actually, so I'll hold off on what I was going to say. All right, is the pork industry in trouble?
Spoilers.
Here's an article from 2023 that says 2022 was bad, but what was going to be good about 2023 is that it couldn't be as bad as 2022. But 2023 was not good. So here's an article saying the good news about 2024 is that it can't be as bad as 2023. So we just every year we go, oh, okay, this year was bad, but it can't be as bad as last year. If there's any good news for 2024, Partners for Production Agricultural President Joe Kern says is that it can't be any worse than 2023. Although economists expect 2024 to be another challenging year, some believe it will be a turning point for the U.S. pork industry. Now, I've read some estimates recently saying that pork will be up like 2%, whatever, and cost per hundredweight will be up $4 over last year. But then you toss in the troubles with Prop 12 in California, that possibly expanding, and I don't see good news on the horizon for the pork industry. I mean, I know obviously I'm eat differently than a lot of people, but the only things I buy that are pork are bacon and pork butts. That's it. I don't ever buy loins. I don't ever buy pork chops. I just don't.
I don't buy as much as I used to. Used to buy more loins because I'd cut them up into chops. But most of the time, I've been lazy and I've been buying sausage instead of making sausage. I need to make sausage.
That is a shame. You shouldn't be doing that.
How would you say that with an accent? That is a shame. Like, what would you go for if you had to?
No, I think it'd probably be a little too
Come on,
inappropriate.
Just rip it. Just go for it.
That is a shame. Well, So that's my neighbors have a very strong Asian
That's a
accent.
good
so
John's
I hear it
name.
all the
Wait,
time.
what if they're not?
They're incredibly lovely people. I love them.
No, I bet you they sound great.
All right, pork demand is uncharacteristically declining. Demand for pork is showing some weakness, which analysts say is unusual for this time of year. USDA's Outlook board chair says it's unusual to see a slowdown in demand, especially during summer grilling season. In turn, that means lower hog prices. USDA has lowered its hog price forecast this year by $2.12, landing at $59.13 per hundredweight. Next year's not looking much better, and they say it could come in nearly 40% lower in next year's forecast. I hope somebody's paying attention to this and trying to do something to save the pork industry because it just looks like it's spiraling down out of control.
You could say what you said earlier.
What was that?
What the shit?
All right. Deli meat, deadly listeria outbreak map, states and symptoms. I actually did a blog post on this. I don't know if we released it or not. Allie was looking at it. But the map makes it look a lot worse than it is because it's just like 28 cases. The bad part is 2 people have actually died from it.
Oh, lead with that. We were
I know.
just
I know. But the map makes it look like, oh no, it's everywhere. And some areas are very dark purple.
We can only laugh about shark attack deaths.
Oh, we're going to get there.
Oh, jeez.
The very dark purple is only 7 cases. Now,
If you were making a map, would purple even enter your mind, though? Come on.
no.
Yeah. Let's do red to dark red.
Yes, it's
Let's
not. The purple doesn't come
brick,
in there.
right?
So this is pink. It might even be fuchsia
It's very soothing. Like, I feel like I could wear the ribbon of that.
to aubergine.
We're running out of different colors for things, though. Come on, man.
But the CDC does say that there's probably a ton more cases out there. It's just for most people, if you get listeria, you're going to be sick for a day, something like that, but you're not going to go to the hospital, and so it's not going to get reported as a listeria outbreak.
Dude,
They
this sounds
admit-
like the beginning to the movie Contagion, you know? Just like, oh, not too bad.
Make sure you
And
go to
then-
your doctor.
Imagine that map maker, though. He's like, this is changing every day. And you want me to make a graphic for this?
I need more colors.
Come on, guys.
But they initially said they thought it was from deli meat, but then they kind of pulled back on that a little bit and said we don't actually have evidence that it's from deli meat, but it seems like the most likely.
Well, that's bad. If they don't know, then it could be anything.
Ooh, it reminds me of a question I had for you guys. Sorry if you weren't done with that, but I feel like this takes precedent. If you were making a playlist for Meatgistics and songs about meat had to be on the playlist, is there one that pops into your mind immediately? Like easy is like songs by Meat Loaf. But
Yeah,
songs that are
those
specifically
don't-
have a meat, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you chew on this one for a
Okay.
little bit.
Yeah, let me think of on that one.
Anyways, please continue.
No, I can't think of anything else but that.
Trace Adkins has a song called "Songs About Me." You could like hijack
Songs
that
about meat.
and do meat.
Okay.
We should probably take that and do a social media
Oh,
post now.
But that's
Perfect.
not
That would be.
that's not really.
Problem is that song was popular 20 years ago.
And you got to think of something like bacon. There's got to be a song out there about how much you're my.
I'm just gonna
Bacon
Google
and eggs.
songs about meat. Don't do that at work. I'm just kidding. The-
All right. Avoid these grocery stores when buying ground beef. I pretty much agree with everything that's on this list. Number 1 was Trader Joe's. I would avoid that store just in general. 2 is Target.
What? Why don't you like Trader
I don't like
Joe's?
Trader Joe's. 2 is Target. I wouldn't buy anything from the meat department at Target. Walmart, I'm more likely to buy stuff from. But again, Aldi's, people say that they like the meat from Aldi's. I've been in there too many times and seen like very discolored meat. And then I tell somebody about it and they are not concerned.
oh no, not at all.
They're like, okay. I'm like,
I like
no, I think that's spoiled. It's not just like, I think it's bad. They're like, okay.
I love Target, but then like the paying an extra $5 for everything in the store is tough for me. So
Yeah, I hate Target. Kroger,
but very well lit though, right? You walk into a Target, you know it, dude. You're just like, man, it is bright in this store, dude.
and then Kroger, which I've never bought like the prepackaged ground beef from Kroger and been happy with what I got. Like there is something not good.
So
about
you
it.
only kind of go to Sam's then, is what it sounds like.
I don't actually buy ground beef. I just grind.
I
If
grind
want
it
ground
myself.
beef, yeah, I grind it myself.
I punch it like Rocky and
All right, totally duping the public. Butcher's blind test reveals some chain restaurants are swapping steak. Now, this is out of Atlanta. What they did is they ordered 5 steaks to go, brought them back, color coded them, and gave them to a butcher, and had him evaluate them on like appearance, taste, like tenderness, all that. But 2 of them were just top sirloin. So they were selling top sirloin as filet. It was the Carrabba's.
Wow.
Come on.
And Carrabba's is not cheap.
I knew that steak sucked. dude.
Carrabba's is expensive.
It is expensive.
I don't know the last time you've been there, but I went there like 4 years ago. I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back. Food's not very good, and this is stupid expensive.
Is that the restaurant by Sam's?
Yes.
I see that all the time. Never been there.
Yeah. Yep. And then the other one was one of the 2 Outback steakhouses that they tested.
It's called steakhouse.
Right?
Come on.
You can't get away with that.
That's nuts.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, one's an Italian place. Sure, makes sense.
Yeah.
Steak's not going to be that great, but like,
Right.
price, I'm sure, is accordingly not adjusted. But now you go to this place you're talking about. That's ridiculous.
I'm supposed to be able to buy a steak here.
I don't know. Outback has steak in the name, but I don't trust. I've never been like, oh yeah, a steak. I've always called it just Outback.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going there for steak, you should do something else.
I mean, I don't eat steak at restaurants.
Can we hear your best Outback Steakhouse impression?
I don't want to do
Shrimp
it.
on the bobby.
All right. So don't order steak from Outback Steakhouse. You're probably not getting what you're paying for. Human bird flu cases tick up. Second Colorado poultry farm.
Are you sure
reports
we're not
spread.
chat GPT? We're just dogging on everything we talk about at the very last sentence. We go, probably shouldn't go
see
there.
what you're saying? Yeah, I see what you're saying. All right. So apparently, bird flu, when it goes from birds to cows, back to birds, back to humans,
I'm sorry. Slow it down.
I know.
Slow it down.
Okay. When the bird flu goes from a bird to a cow, back to a bird, it then becomes much more communicable to humans. However, out of all the cases that they have in Colorado, I say all, it's not that many. I think it's like 12 or something like that. Not a single one of them has required hospitalization.
Before I laugh, how many deaths?
0.
Okay.
0.
Because a death would
Right,
require
yeah.
hospitalization. Hold on. This guy needs to go to the hospital. dude.
No one need to go to the hospital. They all drop dead right away. So I remember like a year ago when we started talking about this, like, man, if this one jumps, that's a real problem because you're looking at like 30% mortality.
yeah,
It
the
looks
death rates were a lot higher with
looks
what
closer
what
to
we're looking
0. So it's just
That's
like
great.
COVID. Patrick has constantly
What?
told me that I'm not allowed to freak out about things anymore. It's like nothing's
Lost his
gonna,
ability to freak-
nothing's
Dude,
ever gonna happen.
Everything's we freak out every week.
The U.S. grocery chain that's an unlikely spot to pick up prime beef. Do you want to take a guess at what it is?
It's a grocery chain.
Wait,
It's
U.S. grocery chain.
where you would get prime beef.
but not like you wouldn't imagine it's there.
That's what the article says.
It's food for less. Albert's. I don't know who.
Okay.
owns that.
no idea.
Trader Joe's.
It's Costco.
oh.
Really?
I don't find that unlikely at all. Costco has a great meat department. Costco has always been known for a great meat department.
Mm-hmm.
So, not unlikely at all.
They usually have a good selection, a lot of meat out.
Yep.
I buy a fair amount of meat from there. It's always been good.
For like true grocery stores, like not a butcher store, Costco and Sam's, in my opinion, have the best meat departments. And, well, we've never bought any fish from. I don't even think Sam's has a fresh fish
Dude,
department. They
There's this
don't.
place I go to out east.
They don't.
Big deep freeze. Name starts with a W. I'm not sure, but you just rummage through the kind of stuff they have. There's stickers on it. There's plastic. I'll get snack sticks, brats. I think it's called Walton's. There's this media room freezer you just dig through sometimes. You'll find
Sometimes
some
you'll find some
gems.
stuff in
Dude,
there.
Stuff.
You'll
Not
find some-
even you assume it'd be freezer burn. I was chewing on a snack stick with a guy I work with the other day, and we looked at each other. It said 2021.
Yep.
And we were still just
And it was still good.
chewing away.
Those sweet ginger chili snack sticks from 2021, they were still like perfectly good.
It helps being a deep freeze. There's not airflow and air movement.
Right.
It's just stuck in the cold. Better than an upright where there's air movement.
There is some fluctuation in temperatures when we occasionally forgot to turn it back on a Friday. I mean, that's happened. That's happened. Certainly, it's happened a few times since 2021, but
Never.
never.
I have a full list of the meat citric songs we all need to know about.
Okay, go.
I'm gonna grab a few here. Ham and Eggs by a Tribe Called Quest. Easy Meat by Frank Zappa. Bacon by Nick Jonas. Pork and Beans by Weezer. Let's see, Fried Chicken by
Pork and
Nas.
beef.
Burgers and Fries by Charlie Pride. Meat Man by Jerry Lee Lewis. Fried Chicken, Zach Brown Band. Let's see.
That's it.
Shake
It's the
Shake
only
Hands
one
with
I've known.
Beef by Primus. It's All Meat by Eric Burden and the Animals. Let's see. Ooh, here's a Meat and Potatoes Man by Alan Jackson. Spam by Weird Al. And let's finish with another piece of meat by Scorpions.
Only one I know out of that is the chicken fried.
Cheeseburger in Paradise, Jimmy Buffett.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
that
there
one,
you go.
that's-
Nice, Patrick. Way to save it at the end.
Yeah, that takes the cake over
Yep.
everything.
All right, real quick, look at that. The sausage,
Would
whatever.
you look at that? Would you just?
That thing? What do you call that? A graphic.
Oh,
Look at that graphic I have. Now this is in the UK, but often things start in the UK and then come here. None of those are labeled as a veggie sausage.
28 days later.
One of them has 42% pork and the rest is a binder. Two of them have 50% pork and the rest is like soy, filler binder nonsense. And then Morrison's, if you're over in the UK, buy your sausage at Morrison's because they're 90% pork.
Sorry, did someone say soy?
what?
Yo soy.
This is interesting. It brings up the whole labeling thing. What I wonder what people can actually get away with in the States, because you go in like ham. I think is the best example when you're looking at like ham and what's added into it. You can either have ham, you can have ham with natural juices, you can have ham with water added, or a ham-like product. Like you have these different levels of how much other things can be in it. I want to say, if you had a 42% pork sausage, like that won't fly.
You
being
can't
actually
call that
called a pork sausage.
No.
But on the other hand, go look at what they call all the alt protein and vegetable sausage stuff, anyways, and they use terms in there that I don't think they should be. They still call stuff bacon, and so. Yeah,
Yeah, it makes no
I don't
sense.
know. Where does that go? That just makes you. If you buy stuff from the store, like read the label.
Yeah,
You're not buying from a local butcher. Read the label.
They
see
don't
what's
have
in it.
regulations to protect like what is a sausage thing. They couldn't even protect themselves against the Germans. They needed us to come over there and do it for them. All right, moving on to wild card because we only have a couple minutes left. Did you see the Yellowstone thermal vent explode?
That was pretty cool.
That was pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume no one got hurt because
Nobody got hurt.
Okay,
There was
good.
0 injuries.
Then it was hilarious.
Cocaine sharks, predators off the coast of Brazil, are testing positive for drugs.
You're welcome.
Yes, Austin sent me that. The 3 theories are drug users, and then their waste going into the ocean, and then they get it. The sharks get it from there.
I'm going with the fact that sharks are just evolving and they have learned to manufacture their own.
That's not one of the ones yet.
And-
The other one is from processing plants runoff, and then they said much more unlikely, but much more interesting. In my mind is what happened off like somewhere Australia. A drug shipment was lost, and they found a shark like actually munching on the drugs. Like that's what I want it to be. That is the best one. Port Macquarie shark attack. A man survives being attacked by a great white shark off is it North South Wales? Yeah, it's gonna be North South Wales. But look at that picture. It bit his board in half.
That's insane.
Yeah, like that's look at a thick
Wow.
board too, and it was only I think they said it was a 10 to 12 footer, so not a big one, and still snapped that board in half.
Not very big. Only 12 feet.
That's not big.
That's still. It's
big.
though. It's still
I-
big.
If I saw an 8-foot great white and I was in the water, I think my initial response would be more like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." It's when they get like to 15 feet where I'm just like, "Nope, now I have to die."
Who'd
Like,
you rather take in a fight? 8-foot great white or a gorilla or a grizzly bear? Like,
Okay.
you name it.
Gorilla, 100%. I would take that first. But then 8-foot shark. I'd rather be in the water with an 8-foot shark than around a grizzly bear.
No. Fight between the two. Like two animals
Oh.
fighting.
Well, it's in water, so the shark.
Okay.
Yeah. There's an awesome shark movie called The Reef, and it was kind of low budget, and it scared me immensely. And I just found out yesterday or the day before that it's based on a true story, and that makes it so much worse.
Yeah.
So it was actually on a shrimp boat. It capsized. They hit a reef. They were floating out in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, "Hey, we've got to make it to this reef over here. Like, we're gonna go in the middle of no shipping lanes, no planes. There's no nothing. We're gonna die." So they go, and shark gets the first guy, and doesn't like take him, just like bites him, and he's bleeding like crazy. And he says to the other guys, he's like, "I'm gonna swim this way. You guys got to swim that way." It's like it's coming back for me. Like all I'm gonna do is attract it. So he literally just swam away from the other two to like sacrifice himself so that they could go. Like
That's
that is
wild.
bravery.
Yeah.
Then they're almost at the reef, and it's like in the middle of the night. They're holding hands or like holding onto each other. The shark comes up and grabs the girl and like shakes her and rips him out of the guy's hands, and he's on the reef like 2 minutes later. Terrible.
That sucks.
Absolutely terrible.
They say that a hero.
Army Vet 45. What is he doing?
I'm singing "My Hero" by Dave Grohl. and
So
Foo
the one
Fighters
who,
to that.
the guy who swam
Yeah.
away.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know if you were on the shark side or what. But the guy said he thought it was the shark, the
rooting
same
for the
shark.
slasher
Also.
of the movie.
All right. Army Vet 45 reveals terrifying encounter with Bigfoot while camping along abandoned forest road and the very scary sound that the creature made. So this thing came back like 3 nights in a row. According to this guy, he's like, he and the people he was with have held this story, like they haven't talked about this story because they didn't want to be considered kooks or anything. But it was making this like screaming, like crazy screaming noise. And then they heard it running by their camp at like incredibly high speeds every night. And there was no way it could be. It was bipedal, obviously, from like the sounds of it. I don't know. What is your take? Are you a Bigfoot guy or no?
No.
You're not. You think
No.
do you think there's no chance, or you just think the likelihood is no, there's not one?
No chance.
Oh, there's
Zero
there's
chance.
There wasn't
definitely a chance.
Giant hairy
You are-
thing living in the woods.
Like
Come
if we were talking like in the 60s, I'd be like, okay, it'd be possible. We're talking, it's 2024. Like people have smartphones and
on. I
cameras.
caught him on
and-
GTA 5, dude. So hate to break it to you, it's a guy in a suit.
Someone would have a legit picture of it.
John's got it right now. He's pulling it up.
So here is a picture of
John's just right
density of the U.S. population. Look at all of that is empty. I mean, you've got Denver and Las Vegas, and everything around it is basically empty. Nobody lives there.
It's still been there's still a lot of people that go there, travel through,
No.
have explored it. It's not like it's totally unexplored area.
I bet you there are 10,000 valleys in there, small valleys, but 10,000, like, on the sides of a mountain that nobody's stepped foot in over 100 years. Also, what I think you fail to understand is that Bigfoot is interdimensional. So when people are about to see him, he can switch out into his
He goes,
natural
oh,
dimension.
dang it, wrong dimension.
He saw me again. And that's why he's blurry, because he's changing dimensions.
Oh, okay. Okay, you might.
There
might
you
be
go.
Bringing me on.
That's
your
why the
side.
pictures are always blurry. Yeah, no, I don't know. I want there to be a Bigfoot. Like, I like the idea.
How many would there be? Just the
Very,
one?
very small. Like, population of maybe like 100 across the entire United States. So,
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm just gonna say no.
man,
have
he's
you,
not-
well,
he's not
okay.
enough.
On the opposite side of that, though,
We got to end.
have you seen the little guys that run around in the forest, like or, I'm
Leprechauns,
sorry, in the jungle?
or-
No. There's like little tribes people.
Oh, the
and
pygmies?
There's like actual footage of
Uh-huh.
them. Yeah. and
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it.
Those exist, right?
Well, we've seen just as much footage of those
Sure.
as we have Bigfoot.
Yep.
Meanwhile, one for sure exists and one for sure doesn't.
I don't think for sure. Oh, you're saying you're arguing with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're out there. I hope. I want it to be.
Bigfoot.
All right. Thanks, guys. We will
Thanks,
see you in
everybody.
2 weeks.
Thanks for checking out the Meatgistics podcast. To shop everything but the meat, head on over to waltons.com. To get your meat processing questions answered by experts and enthusiasts alike, head on over to our online community at meatgistics.com. Waltons, everything but the meat.